Well, I was on the Texas trip. So shout out my team, Keegan, Abby, and Ezra. That was a lot of fun. Uh, to be honest, I went into the trip not expecting diddly. I did not expect God really to be doing anything. I went down there just to, in my mind, I was just going to serve. I wanted to do what we're supposed to, right? Go and make disciples of the nations, preach the gospel, and be the hands and feet of Jesus. That's something we're supposed to do in our daily lives, not just on a trip, but I felt like I should go and do that and do that in that way. But again, I wasn't expecting God to do anything. And we get down there, and car rides, normal. We get there, first day, normal. Second day, nothing. And third day, funny enough, third day, which was Tuesday, because we got there on Sunday, at night, because we would get back around 4:30 from the work site. So at night, after dinner and share time and everything, me and my girlfriend ended up having a discussion, and that led to kind of almost me self-talking while she was just listening, of going down this rabbit hole of why I was feeling certain things. And at the end of it, I realized that I had been putting burdens on myself that God was not intending me to have on me, and I was stealing the joy out of my own life for a long time, and I realized that I needed help with that, and so we decided that we were going to pray. And I went to the cross. There's at the church we were staying, there's a giant cross in the middle of their courtyard, and I went and I knelt before it, and I was praying, and I prayed and I prayed, and I thought I was hearing God, but I wasn't in that moment. I was just really seeking Him, and I didn't hear Him in that moment. And usually, I pray and I come out of it after hearing Him and feeling a sense of peace, a sense of settledness, and I did not feel that. I felt uneasy, I felt confused, and I felt kind of just meh. But regardless, went to bed that night, and then I had this nightmare. And it was I didn't realize it at the time, it was a very demonic nightmare. And it was just involving some things in my past with my dad, and with kind of an identity thing of his feelings towards me and what he thought of me as my dad. But at the end of it, it came to be, and it was my mom in the dream, but it was definitely the Holy Spirit, and it was like going to the room, like, why were you mad? Is it the sock? He can pick up the sock. It's fine. Why were you mad? And I started telling the Holy Spirit what that demon had said, and it started begging and like crying and trying to cling to me, and I pushed away at it, but that's where the dream ended. And I woke up and I was like, Lord, just give me a dream that's of you. And then I look at the time and I have to get up. I can't go back to sleep. I get up and I still have that really uneasiness, the unsteadiness, that I'm just like weighted, and it feels wrong and it feels off. And I go to breakfast. We make our lunches at breakfast. We do all of that. And I'm sitting there and I'm eating, and people are just talking around me, and I've dealt with voices for a long time, and I always thought it was just normal spiritual warfare, the normal amount everyone deals with, and that it was what God wanted me to go through to become the man He wanted me to be. And so I just dealt with it. I shoved them kind of into the corners of into the spaces in my mind, and I would just fight them off, but it would wear on me. And something I hadn't realized was, over the last couple years, it became more and more overwhelming, more and more consistently, as I continued to pursue and follow God. And I'm sitting there at breakfast, and it's like the loud noise in a restaurant of chattering turned up to 10. And I am fighting, and I feel like I can't speak, and I reach out for help, just with a signal that me and my girlfriend made for each other. And she started praying over me, and the only thing I started thinking was that I needed more prayer. I needed more, because I needed more. It was too much. I was overwhelmed in my head. And eventually, someone came over. This was like when pretty much everyone had left, and started getting ready for the day. But came over and asked if I was okay and if I needed prayer. And my girlfriend said yes, and she got all the foremen from all of the groups, and they all came and prayed over me. And that began the most intense and, in a sense, unnerving or unusual to me spiritual warfare that I've ever experienced. I was shaking violently. I was hyperventilating. I wasn't in control of my own body, and I had very few coherent thoughts. But they continued to pray, and they continued to sing over me and pray over me. And eventually, I don't know if it was a half hour or an hour or 45, I don't know how long it was, but it was a while. Everyone in Texas, remember, we left very late that day. So I apologize for that, but there was a purpose. And eventually, it ends, and I finally have the silence I've been praying for years. It was something I didn't think would ever go away. I've dealt with this since I was a kid. Some wise people I talked to kind of gave some insight with the things I dealt with as a child and the ways that it affected me, and let those spirits reside in with me. And I had always dreamed, like, no, this can't be inside me. This can't be a part of me. I'm following Jesus. I've got the Holy Spirit. I'm being used by the Holy Spirit. But it was. So much to the fact that I couldn't hear my own thoughts over them. And now they're gone. Thank you, guys.